Hey, let's play Pain Train. This is Homeless Poster.
And I'm Jackson.
And this is the second half of World 7 in our low, no-kill pacifist run of Super Mario Bros. 3.
So we're on 7-7 now?
No, we're actually on 7-8. We just had to skip 7-7 because of the ensuing Starman debacle.
Oh, yeah.
But this one actually, I think Jackson illustrates a couple times, something I'd mentioned previously, where as Small Mario, there you go, you got to share the platform with the Piranha Plant.
You do have to make some very awkward jumps in this level.
I think this one was probably one of the ones that gave us the most trouble too, because you'll get in situations where on the, like here, or on the left and right of the screen, you could potentially have the Piranha Plant spitting fireballs at you. And
there's also an interesting enemy in this level, which
that you don't see in the rest of the game.
Or in any other subsequent games.
It's a really big dick move, because if you're just like getting through the level, you think like, oh, I'm clear. Well, you guys will see that. Anyway, so this is kind of what I was talking about in the last video too, where you don't really realize how obnoxious the fire flowers or the fire-breathing Piranha Plants are until there's an entire world of just these guys. A lot of times, if you're taking it slow, you won't necessarily scroll a fire flower behind you off the screen entirely, so then you get stuck in a situation where you've got one on the right and one on the left. Of course, their fireballs are at different angles, and it just becomes a huge pain in the butt to try and thread through them. Actually got through this pretty effortlessly.
Well, we can watch here. Here's these fire-breathing...
little white flowers.
Little...
So this guy right here,
flowers.
Boom. You don't see him anywhere else in the game, anywhere leading up to this, anywhere after this.
And they shoot these weird rain of fireballs.
Yeah, and it doesn't track like a normal Piranha Plants does, where it just kind of goes at your height. It goes in an arc, and it can actually, if it starts far away, it can still come in on you, right?
It follows you.
So it doesn't even, it's like you can start far away from it and let the spread go by. It'll actually, as it's sequentially spitting those things, it'll adjust whatever direction you're at. So we got through that. Like I said, that level was probably the biggest pain in the butt for us, I think, out of this entire world. Just in terms of having to make the jumps and deal with those things. This level is actually pretty cool to explore, and some of the people in the thread had actually posted that they were inspired to start playing Mario 3. If you haven't played it before, it really is a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun than our Let's Play makes it look. Keep in mind, we're doing something relatively challenging. It's not the most fun way to play the game, I'll be honest. But one of the coolest things about Mario 3 was just the different paths that you can take through the levels. There's a lot of secret areas that we had to bypass or that we really just couldn't show off at all because we didn't have power-ups. If you're feeling nostalgic, I definitely recommend you give it a playthrough because it is a lot of fun.
I mean, otherwise, like, this level is rather boring.
Yeah.
Just shooting through it.
It's just a straight shot, really. It took me, again, another level I'm glad I did the practice runs on, because if you don't remember what the path was, it looks like when you first break it through the top, you can go all the way to the right, and in most Mario levels, you fly over the top to the right, and boom, you're at the end. This level has a very special fuck you. If you try that, you actually drop off the right side that you'll see here on the other side of these purple pipes, and you can clearly see the orange pipe, and there's no way to get to it, so you gotta climb all the way back. But fortunately we got through that. No trouble, no harm, no foul.
With a fire flower card?
You know what? I'm not even trying at this point, man.
I see that.
You've got a lot more invested in this than I do. And this mini-boss dungeon now, too, is interesting because it's actually just Piranha Plants again.
Yeah.
And lava.
Lava and Piranha Plants, fine. Besides Cockatoo and Fire Chomps.
Really, anything with fire in this game is just way more obnoxious than it needs to be. One of the weird things about this level, too, is that if you're above a Piranha Plant's tube, it actually won't spawn out. But it's not, like, obvious that happens, at least until the very, very, very end of the map. And so it can make you take a lot of jumps where you're second-guessing yourself because you're afraid it's going to pop out, and then you move away from it, and then it does pop out. And anyway, there's also these really...
Yeah, this whole level is just about timing, really.
This whole section, this is not the first thwomp that you're going to see there, where you just got to kind of make, like, an all-in-one run, because you can't stop. You basically got to wait till the Piranha Plant's in a good position and just do it all in one shot. I was actually disappointed when I was playing through this on my own. You really can't go down any of these pipes in this level. I mean, it seems like with one so full of pipes, especially like 7-2 being all about going between the two different sections, for the mini dungeon to just completely not use that, I was a little bit surprised. Once again, thwomp. The boo ghosts actually seem like they're the least obnoxious part of this level.
Yeah, I mean, they're boos.
So you can see right here with Jackson, as long as he was above the pipe, it's not obvious, but the plant actually won't come down.
Well, I almost even have to wonder why they even bothered putting a plant there.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that they bothered to, code the, behavior of that one little fire white plant. It's the only time you see him in the game. You'd think that they spent the time doing that, they'd want to reuse it. Because God knows, they love putting boos in the dungeons. And then they decided, well, boos aren't enough. We also need those little obnoxious candle enemies to also be the same boo behavior. Like, why they would code that for one monster in one map, and that's it. Like, I don't know.
It was a different time back then.
Speaking of a different time, I actually recovered my original cartridges and NES from my folks' place a couple weekends back, and I was actually playing through Mario Brothers 3, just on a lark to kind of compare what I've seen in this versus what the original had, and they definitely changed, some not important stuff, but kind of a little behind-the-scenes stuff. In all of those tubes that you use to navigate the world maps, in the Mario All-Stars format, there's actually no timer. You can't die in there, but in the original Mario 3, they do have timers because they're just a world map, basically.
Sure.
You can still run out of time there. And then the sprites...
Was that a problem for you? Like, why did you even notice that?
Because I'm incredibly anal about that kind of stuff, man. Like, I'm the least exciting person to talk to. I notice all kinds of stupid shit like that. But then, as well, so the sprites, obviously...
You notice Yoshi?
Yeah, not Yoshi. And it turns out there's actually a little bit of a twist in the plot of Mario 3, or at least I thought.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. It's pretty good.
It's not really a twist, it's just a misconception that we had. Really.
I haven't played this game since I was, 4 or 5 years old. I didn't really pay attention to it. It actually doesn't follow the plot of every other established Mario game. It's a little bit of a joke. This airship actually ended up not being too bad for Jackson and myself.
There's not a lot of projectiles, which really...
For what we're doing,
in our challenge is the biggest annoyance.
The painful part. The thing that we actually noticed was that in the majority of these cases, it wants you to use those little nugget, or I call them nuggets.
They're not nuggets, by the way. In case you're wondering, they're not nuggets.
Anyway, little screws on these threads, they want you to use those to navigate, then whatever.
They're nuts on the screws.
You stop screwing my nuts, man. I'm not a handyman. I don't know how this stuff works. Anyway, you're supposed to use those to kind of rotate across the empty spaces, and the trick being that as they turn, you have to keep jumping, or it'll actually dump you, below into the abyss. But actually, on most of these areas, despite the scrolling screen, if you just wait, till the next part of the platform appears, almost every time you can just jump to the next platform.
Yeah, I mean, they're just annoying. They're not hard. They're just annoying.
Well, and something else we figured out too, Dan Jackson's going to show you right here, that with these wrench-throwing guys, if you jump onto the platform and then just stand still as Small Mario, the wrench will just go over your head every time. You don't have to, dick with it.
Which is good, because these are also some of my least favorite enemies in the game.
Well, I think this is the loosest definition of an airship that they actually use in this game.
How's this thing even...
They're like flying wooden marital aids, it's like an ensemble of those, and then, hey, some wrench-throwing dudes. And then, an afterburner. But the afterburner's firing vertically, so wouldn't that just be driving this airship into the ground? It doesn't make any sense. I'm really mad about a Mario game not making logical sense. I'm super serious about this.
This ship is not mechanically sound.
And then this guy's actually the biggest asshole as far as the Koopa Kids go, too.
Anytime he hits the ground, he'll freeze you, which I believe I get frozen right there.
Yeah, which is...
He comes at me.
It's a very harrowing moment. But yeah, so not only does he freeze you, he actually didn't shoot any of the rings,
Sometimes he'll shoot as wanted, yeah.
And it really makes it frustrating, when you're trying to, replay through it.
You're trying to avoid his rings from his wand.
And then he jumps at you, and the next time he doesn't do the rings, and then it's ridiculous. But it actually turns out that Odin, the father of Thor, was the ruler of World 7. You can see him here in his neat little Viking hat.
We got it.
It makes sense if you think about it, because Odin actually, had his spear. He was the All-Father. He was the Lord of the Ravens that, kept him apprised of everything going on in the mortal world. And then now, after rescuing Odin, World 8 is actually what, the hell of the Norse mythology? It's where all the Dark Elves live.
Again, I think
Frost Giants.
I think we're looking into this much more than
anybody else.
Than they did.
So, pointed out.
Well, if you notice here, so we assumed that Princess Peach was just captured the entire time,
like every other Mario game.
As in every other Mario game, but as it turns out,
she wasn't captured till right now.
She wasn't.
So it kind of begs the question: was it more important for Mario to return these kings to their land, or she just been hanging out? Well,
he was just saving the Mushroom Kingdom. I mean, he was just going
as
world
by
world
to
get the wands back for these kings.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the end of World 7, and we'll pick up with you guys again for World 8.
All right, we'll see you.
See ya.